Welcome to your introduction to D2R Loot Goblin. This is a site made by myself with a little bit of community help here. It started off as really just me wanting to make an easier way to search through the gear. When I started playing again with Reign of the Warlock, I was forgetting a lot of things. Couldn't remember all the items with fire skills. Couldn't remember the runes for insight. So I started to get a database built here that I could quickly come to and reference while I was playing instead of having multiple tabs open on a different screen. And I started off with the Gear Explorer, and what that did was it takes all the unique items in the game, all the set items in the game, and all the rune words, and puts them into one searchable database. Uh, we all started off with Warlocks this season, so I wanted to quickly reference what was out there that had fire skills. So by searching fire skills, it's going to go and it's going to search across the uniques, the sets, and the rune words, and it's going to pull back anything that has them. So we're even seeing full set bonuses for Naj's Ancient Vestige, Cathin's Roll, lots of uniques here, and then of course Leaf and Flickering Flame. So this was a very easy way for me to go say, ooh, I'm going to switch to this build once I get to Nightmare. What can I search for? What can I trade for? Very quick and easy way to do that. So this is where it started. What came next was as I started finding bases, as I started collecting runes, what was the easiest way for me to figure out what was good? So typically the order of which you're doing things is you find a base and you wonder what you can put in it. So early on, you might be finding a scythe. So you can come to the Runeword base items, and it has a full listing of all the base items in the game. We've got what the cube can roll. And if you click in, this is important because there's an eye level on the item based on where it drops. That's what defines what you're going to get when you go to Larzik. So when you click into the base item, that logic will be right here. So if it's eye level 25 or less, so that's anything dropped in normal, it's going to max at 3 sockets. And then, of course, your more often Nightmare drop will hit your 4 sockets, 5 sockets. So let's say we found one with 4 sockets. That's that dream drop there early in the game. Right, you get into Nightmare, you hit a 4 socket. That's a great roll. So what can I build with it? Down here we have the rune words. So we can just scroll through here and oh, yeah, that's right, Insight. Early game core, mark staple. Perfect. That's a great item for you to start off with. So now you just need to go get the runes. So what I did that I think is pretty unique with the site is I made a two-way lookup. Let's say you know that you want insight, and we'll get there through the actual Runeword page. But if you're in here, you can click Insight, and it's going to take you to that specific Runeword page. Little description about what the Runeword is, where it fits, and then of course the rune order, what it can roll on, and all the stats. And again, down here, like I said, I wanted it to be both ways. Look at the item, look at the rune word, and then figure out what items you can search for, or vice versa. I found this base, and now you can click that base and go see everything that you can make with it. So this is one way to get to the rune page. The other way to get to the rune page is back to the home page, click Rune Word Finder. This is just, no different than the set items and unique items. We've got everything right here. You can search for the stats, search for the names. They should pop up. There are big filters here. Let's say you know you have a tier, an eth, an ith, tau, ort, thal, If you do the I have these, it's going to tell you what you can make. So all these ones you can make. So with those runes, I can do edge, pattern, spirit, stealth, strength, and zephyr. And then it goes to show you what you're missing. With a RAL, here are the ones I can do. So it gives you an easy way to say, I have these runes, what can I make with it? Or let's say you're early in the game, you have, those are the exact 4 that you have. Do they work with anything? Nope. Let's say you've got those. So what it does, if you do exact combo, it's only going to find rune words that are using all of those. So you have a Tal, a Ral, and an Ort. Okay, now we found something. Ral, Ort, Tal, Ancient Spledge. Great early game. Early game, get those resists. All right. So after the rune words, we go on to crafting. So we can go back to the home page here, scroll down, we've got it at the mechanics. We've got crafting, which are your normal blood, caster, hit power, and safety. And of course, all the items that go with them. These are just your normal crafting recipes. Cool thing about this, anything in here that you can click a star, you can favorite it. It can be a crafting recipe, it can be a rune word, it can be a unique. And what that does is it's going to send it to the favorites page. So now, every time you're playing, if there are certain things that you're always looking up, you can tag them here. So I've got some rune words up here. And then I have some of the recipes I always come back and look for. And then, of course, your socketing recipes. Always looking up what I need to do to add some sockets to an item. So back to the home page here. Cube recipes, similar. If you want to see what the upgrade is for a rune, let's say I want to make lum, I have IO, you can come here, 3 IO and a flawed topaz makes a lum. So this is just a quick rune upgrade. Then down here you have your socket or your socket recipes, your gem recipes, item rerolls, upgrades, all the like. Every recipe that's in the game, we've got here. This next section, oh, that's right, the rune upgrade calc. This one's very easy. You've been playing the game for a while. Let's just say you have a whole bunch of runes. You can plug in everything that you have in here. And let's just say we've got 20 Thal, 20 15 Soul, and 5 Shale runes. What can you get to? So essentially, with that combination, it's going to give you the cubing path, and the highest you'll be able to cube to is a Hell. So this is more useful once you're starting to get those middle of the road high rune, middle of the road higher runes, and then once you get into the truly high runes, it's sometimes you want to figure out, can I get to a Gaul? I know I have some mals and some ums. Here's how you can validate and check that out. This next section is one of the coolest things we have added in here. The charm and jewel checker. This is just a very basic, way to check your small charms or your jewels to see if you found something that actually has little trade value. The premium and GG are pretty tight. These are the items that, your 40-15 jewels that you're going to find. Those are your GG rolls. GG is literally the perfect roll with the perfect combo. Premium, that's where maybe your 38-12 is going to be, because they're still going to fetch a good trade value, but it's not that perfect roll. With these value checkers, always check the sites that you're trading on to make sure that you're getting a good value. These are numerical values that are, well, not this one. This one is just a general trade value. The ring tracker is where we start to assign numerical values, not rune value, numerical value. But always check the site you're looking on. Something I noticed this season that was odd is one site had burrs trading higher than Ja. The other site had Ja's trading higher than burr. So that can be a huge significant difference. I guess if you're trying to get both of them for an Enigma, it doesn't matter if you get both, but that makes a big difference when you're trading items for a Ja or a burr and you want to use that rune to go get something else. Make sure you understand the value where you're trading. All the sites are different. Now to the really cool one, the ring and amulet checker. So right now we only have rare rings in here. Brachio Bales from the Diablo II Resurrected Discord, or not Discord, yeah, the Discord and the Reddit sub. He helped me come up with this idea. I had been planning on doing it, but he kind of re-injected the idea into me and kind of helped me figure out the way we could try and do this. So we started talking about using the old 6-point scale. Um, but while we were doing it, I had the idea to add something in to help us give a little more value to things that are more valuable season over season. Like right now, we know that with the Warlock being the most used, you find a rare ring that has faster cast rate, mana leech, and life leech. It almost doesn't matter what else is on there. That's a valuable ring. So we've got a little value tier reference here. We're gonna continue to refine this, but I think we have it in a pretty good place right now. So let's just run through one of those really good rings. So let's say we do find something with faster cast rate, with mana, and life stolen. So right here, that trifecta, that's huge. So the way the scoring works is you're going to get those 1-point bonuses, or 1 points for each of the affix rolls because they're perfect there. But let's say they're lower, obviously that'll drop. But because these are very critical, you're still going to get 0.5 or 1 point allocated for each of these. Faster cast rates, always a point. So let's drop that a little. Let's drop that down a little bit. So you got decent rolls for the leech. We're already looking at a 5.5 value ring. That's putting us right here. Definitely a tradable ring, and we don't even have any of the prefixes added yet. So to balance out the way the logic works is we have some suffixes that are going to give that are available for the bonus, the meta bonus, and obviously all three of these are those. So that's where we're getting this 1.5 bonus. Now, pending what we roll over here, the ring can either continue to get better and score higher on the rating system, or maybe it tops out here because we got really crappy prefixes. So let's just say we get attack rating, maximum stamina, and mana. Let's just leave them all like as pretty good rolls. Let's leave that there. Let's move that down a little bit. With that, we're going to top out at 6. Now you may think, well, it has these 3. And that's very true. That's a very good ring. But the reality is, it could be significantly better. And that's where this rating system comes in and to be helpful figuring out what you have. A good ring is a tradable ring. That is something that you can absolutely go get something for. When we get to premium and GG, this is where you're GG, you're rich. These rings are going to trade for multiple jaw runes, etc. So let's just see what would turn this ring into something more valuable. And for that, resists are always valuable. So let's say you roll. Let's just go with a dual resist ring. Let's get rid of the mana. So let's say we've got. There we go. So just by adding those dual resists, now that ring's up here into the premium value. And realize once you're getting into premium, these are your very highly sought after rings. And GG is really left for the ring that has every single affix is useful for a specific build. So this is just a good example of the logic that we're going to use to expand into amulets next. And then I think I'm going to do crafted. PvP is isolated, that's separate. It has a whole completely different system because PvP, life leech and mana leech don't matter. So I can't score that the same as I'm scoring the PvE items. What I also want to do is I do want to add like the helms, the coronets, and the circlets, and I also want to do boots and gloves because these are things people have trouble valuing. And as I refine this system, the rating system, we're going to apply it across the board to each one of these. And what I'm really hoping to see is that this becomes a trusted method and a trusted way for people to start to figure out what their items are worth. Then you can go onto the trade sites and, figure out what you want for it. Like I said on the other page, please remember, always check your trade sites before you're assigning the value. This is a numerical rating based on the roles and the affixes that are on the items. So you always want to do your own due diligence. And I want to make sure people understand it's not going to change much, but we may refine it over time. And that right now, PvP is not considered. So it's its own animal. We'll get to it someday. But thank you very much for anyone who's watched the video.